Hey peeps, welcome to my behind the scenes video series where the hair is big, and the shirts are funky. Now, today we're talking about episode No Ma'am. It's our 6th episode, and it's our Jim Carrey episode. I'm a huge Jim Carrey fan if you don't know me, and I think it shows in my acting, and it definitely shows up in this series. And this episode is sort of like a liar, liar, yes man blend turned on its head, and it's chock full of Jim Carrey moments and hat tips. So, Jim, if you ever see this, just know you're my acting inspiration, first and foremost. And if I ever meet you, if I don't pass out immediately, I'm going to have a lot of questions, and I hope that we riff for days. It's all about keeping your sanity, by saying no when you need to. Yes, it's important to say yes to life and to be open and all those things, but when it's in your best interest to say no. It's about balance. It's very much about balance, and you need to know when to say yes and when to say no. Now, the guy who plays the handyman in this opening scene, his name is Connor Schillen. He actually directed the first 2 episodes of this web series, and he really wanted a part. And we're friends, and so I knew that he would be really good. He's a super funny guy, and I knew he'd be great at this type of character because certain things are in people's their wheelhouse, and he does a really good job. It is what it is. He does a really good job playing just kind of like a slimy degenerate. Okay, that's all I'm saying. He's not in real life, but he plays it well. And we could not keep it together. He threw us some alt lines. He gave us everything we wanted and then some. And so it's really hard to keep it straight and follow through with that. So we had to get creative with kind of cutting around like smirks and smiles and laughs of Connor. Boy, that is a blooper reel in and of itself. Now, with how this episode works, we're kind of playing with the idea that it's between me wishing that she has to say no for 24 hours and something to do with the funky water, the pipes, it didn't work out. So just the cards, or the stars were aligned, the cards were in my favor, and I was able to put this upon Polly to make it work. So take that as that. We had a lot of fun watching Stephanie with this the pen is blue moment from Liar Liar. If you all remember this, really struggling with writing that the color of this pen is red when it's a blue pen.
The color of the pen that I hold in my hand is royal blue.
Her doing that with the cell phone and trying to text yes and answer yes to these job interviews and these dates and all these other things, and she's pretty pissed at Pete at first, and she warms up to the idea that this is potentially good for her. But that scene in particular, especially on the couch, whew, that was good. And in the kitchen is watching her really struggle with trying to say that. She did it very well. I want to say that shout out to Kyone Smith and Chris Gooley. I cast them in their roles, their respective roles, purposely because I thought spinning it would be very interesting, having a black woman try to raise money for underprivileged white people, because I feel like you so often see white people trying to raise money for Haiti or somewhere in Africa or something like that, and it's where are all the people of color to do this out on the streets and whatnot? Just an interesting idea, or interesting question for me. And Chris Gooley playing the guy selling CDs, the kind of scammer dude. You never see creepy white dudes trying to sell CDs on the streets of New York, and so I thought that would be weird too. He also did a really good job of sneaking up on her and just kind of being weird, the voice and the posture and all that stuff. It was super funny. So both of them did a really good job with those quick little weird co-stars that help drive the story forward. On top of that, shout out to Stephanie Bonner for hooking us up with her bar to use for the last quarter of the episode here. That is Pub on 4th Ave, 4th Ave Pub, and in Brooklyn. Sweet bar, and I think that they might serve some food as well or some light snacks maybe. But they have like a back door, like patio area, and she was super generous. All she basically was saying like is, let me know the date, and you guys have like the whole like morning and afternoon to shoot there if you need it before we open. So very generous, and thank you so much, Stephanie, for letting us be there. And then we have Chadwick Sutton returning as Lucas, and I really love like his character in this because he's saying what the audience is thinking. He's like a 24-hour no curse. Like, are you drunk, high? Like, do you need a drink? Like, what is going on? And then even when it comes to getting us out of there, it's like, you guys got to go. You just like fought somebody, and like before the cops come, and this is a big deal. Like, he's our friend or whatever, but when he's in bartending mode, he's kind of no nonsense, not having it.
You guys should probably go.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think that was an interesting way to bring his character back, and the performance is very different than the vibe that he was giving in like the party. And that's very much the case in real life too. You kind of act differently depending on your setting and where you're at. So that was really interesting. And then final like really cool moment from memory is like Stephanie. We had conversations, Stephanie Winland, where she really wanted like a badass like fight choreography like moment in this. She doesn't have anything on camera that that had that prior to this, and so while we were going through the season trying to like figure out how we were gonna do everything and put things where, I found this moment which I thought would be perfect for her to like stand up for herself and have this like badass moment where she kicks some dude's ass who's like being just like a bar jerk. And Dan Hill did a very good job of playing bar jerk. He threw some alt lines at us as well. We might have used one of them in it. Can't remember for sure, but he was super funny and does that role well. And he's not that guy either. He's very chill, very nice guy. So shout out to him for crushing that role too. And that's those are my favorite moments from No Man. So thanks for watching. Watch the full episode and the full season on YouTube and Vimeo and Starable.com, the place for all things web series. And if you have any questions, comments, please reach out to us. Definitely comment on YouTube. Rate us on IMDb. And stay tuned for any and all Peas in the Pod news. Thanks, y'all.